are in the QBO gym, and this is where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do an entire month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But let's get into today's exercise, which is being pulled from our September Year 1 cardio section. At the top here is an animated video to give you a synopsis of what is going on in Craig's world this month. He is our fictitious business owner. Below that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Under that are all of the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have gone through all of the exercises in this section and completed them, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everyone what you have learned so far. So let's dive into today's exercise where we are going to practice setting up and paying a delayed charge. Go ahead and click on that link to have the exercise pulled up for you. I have it over here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through our scenario. Craig installed a new garden at Red Rock Diner, and the owners asked Craig to handle the watering. Craig needs to stop by twice per week to water. He may also need to do some weeding intermittently. Craig only wants to invoice Red Rock Diner once for these visits at the end of the month. So far, Craig has watered the new garden on Tuesday and Friday of last week. He already did Tuesday of this week and plans to do Friday as well. Plus, this week he is going to weed. Now, you will need to be in the sample company to do this exercise. If you are not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link in the description. I have the sample company over here on the left side of my screen. Once you sign in, this is what it will look like. This is the dashboard. So let's go ahead and get started with this exercise. Because you're recording this now but sending an invoice later, you'll be using the delayed charges feature. Start by setting up the charges for last week's watering. So to do that, we're going to click on the plus new button and then click on delayed charge. So the plus new button is on the top left corner of the screen. Click on that. And then under customers, you're going to find delayed charge. So go ahead and click on that. Once it comes up, we are going to go ahead and fill it out. In the customer field, we want to select Red Rock Diner. So go ahead and click the down arrow and you can either scroll or you can type in their name. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. Now let's go ahead and click on the calendar icon in this delayed charge date. So go ahead and select that. And then in that field, we want to select Friday of last week. Now your dates are going to be different than what you see on my screen depending on when you're doing this exercise. So just go ahead and select Friday of last week. In the product service field, we want to select gardening. So go ahead and click into it and you can either start typing like I'm going to do, or you can scroll to find it. Once you do, go ahead and click on it. Now you could create a separate line for each day, but for this exercise, we're just going to use this one line for both of the days. So to show that it is for 2 of the days, we're going to just edit the description field a little bit to include this MMDDYY and putting that twice. Now, normally in the sample company, we avoid real dates because they're always changing. But in this case, it may be helpful to enter last Tuesday's date and last Friday's date so you can see what a real world invoice would look like. So feel free to do that if you want. I'm going to go ahead and just follow this format so that I can have it here. So we want to delete that weekly gardening service and just type watering dash MMDDYY, comma MMDDYY. Again, you can put actual dates in here if you would like. For the purpose of this exercise, while I'm doing this video, I'm just going to use a very generic format. Now in the quantity field, we're going to put 2 since he went 2 times this week, so or last week. So go ahead and change that to a 2. And then the rate field, we're going to say it was $25 each time he went out. So go ahead and type 25. When you hit the tab key over, QBO will make the calculation for you. 2 times 25 is $50. So let's go ahead and this is all finished. So let's go ahead and save new because we are going to set up the delayed charge for this week. So go ahead and click on Save and New. It's on the bottom right corner. And now that one has been saved and we have a brand new one to fill out. So let's fill out the one for this week. In the customer field, we're going to select Red Rock Diner once again. So click the down arrow and you can either scroll or you can type in their name. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. Now, as a note here, QBO may ask if you want to pre-fill this delayed charge and overwrite your entries using values from this contact's last delayed charge. Select yes if you get this message. If QBO does not display this question, we're just going to move on to the next step. For me, it did not show up, so I'm going to move on. The sample company can be a little finicky, and so sometimes things will pop up and sometimes they don't. So in this case, I did not get a pop-up message. I was just getting what it was from the last delayed charge because it was tied to Red Rock Diner. And I believe that this is just a setting in the accountant settings that can be adjusted if you would like to have it turned off, or you can have this where it pre-fills the data from the last time you did a transaction for this particular customer. So let's go ahead and change the delayed charge date to this upcoming Friday. So once again, click on that calendar icon and it comes up when you hover over it. Select this coming Friday. For me, it is tomorrow actually. So your date will be different, but go ahead and select this upcoming Friday. As an option here, you can feel free to edit the description field to reflect the dates of Tuesday and Friday of this week if you want to see how this looks realistically or on a realistic how a realistic invoice might look. There we go. I'm having that general format, so I'm just going to leave this as is. So this one is all good, but if you remember from the scenario, Craig also said that he weeded this week for $15. So we need to add it to this particular delayed charge. So on the second line in the product service field, we're going to select gardening. So click into that field. Once again, I am going to type it. You can also scroll. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. And let's update the description field to reflect accurately what this was for, which was weeding. So in the description field, delete what is currently there and go ahead and type weeding. We're leaving that quantity as is because he did it just once and it was a rate of $15. So go ahead and type that in. When you hit the tab key over, QBO updates that and it has also made the calculation of both of those charges together. So this delayed charge is all complete. Let's go ahead and click on Save and Close. So go ahead and click on the down arrow next to Save and New, select Save and Close. And now that delayed charge, that second one, has been saved. All right, so the end of the month finally rolls around and you are ready to invoice Red Rock Diner. You could simply click plus new and invoice like usual, but take a look at Red Rock Diner's account instead. You'll invoice from there directly. So to get to their account from the left navigation bar, we are going to hover over customers and leads and then select customers. So the left navigation bar over here is this black bar. Halfway down, you'll see customers and leads. Hover over that and then customers from that drop down. Now, once it comes up, we're going to scroll down until we find Red Rock Diner and then click on their name. So scroll and there it is. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. And now their customer profile will appear for you. If you happen to get any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them. It's just QBO giving some information about this area. I am also going to collapse this bar right here by clicking on these 3 lines in this arrow, just because my screen is a little bit more shortened with the exercise here, so I want to be able to see the full screen. Feel free to collapse it or you can leave it open. right, so you can see the two delayed charges that we just set up. It's these two right here. You'll notice how the amounts are displayed, but they are not reflected in the open balance amount. That's because they aren't invoiced yet. So we're going to go ahead and create that invoice. So if we go back up here, here is that open balance for $226. But you can see the open balance. Well, it says 411, but this is the total amount. So I don't see what the I don't see the like a total other than right up here. But anyways, just know that until you actually invoice these are just going to be hanging out here and they're not part of this open balance. So let's go ahead and click on Create Invoice. We'll just use the top one right here. And once we do, the invoice will automatically be created using the delayed charge information from the one that we just clicked on. However, you'll notice that the other delayed charge popped up in this drawer right here, so we can just add it to the invoice. If there were additional delayed charges, they would also show up here as well. So just go ahead and click on the Add All from right here. Go ahead and do that. And it will move over. We're going to edit the invoice date to the last day of this month. So go ahead and click on that calendar icon in the invoice date. And I am going to select the last day of this month. Please do the same thing. Again, your dates may be different. So we added the first delayed charge to this invoice, and then we clicked on Add All from that pop-up drawer in order to do that. And again, if there were additional charges, they would show up there and you would hit Add All and they would all be included here on this invoice. So the invoice is ready to send to the customer. It shows the 4 watering visits and the weeding on the single invoice. So these two, and then that one weeding. Normally, you would click on Save and Send to email the invoice to the customer, but we're just going to close it at this point because we can't actually send invoices in the sample company. So let's go ahead and click on that down arrow next to Save and Send and select Save and Close. Now that invoice has been saved, and you can see that open balance has now changed and it is reflecting and showing the amount, those delayed charges that we just invoiced. So both of those delayed charges are marked as converted right here, which means that they have been included in an invoice. In addition, now that the delayed charges have been invoiced, as I said, the open balance has now been increased by $115, which is the combination of those two delayed charges. If you would like more practice using delayed charges and other accumulated charges, be sure to check out our April strength training section of the QBO Gym. But that is how you would set up and create an invoice for delayed charges. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. We have finished the cardio section and we move on to the strength training section with our next exercise where we practice setting up a customer deposit. And I will see you in the next video.